Okay, I might get some flack back for this, but I'm going to put it out there for my students. Balsekar, Ramesh Balsekar, that was supposed to have been a student of Nisargadatta's, is definitely no Nisargadatta, okay? Just like Godman is no Ramana, okay? So they trade on, Godman trades on Ramana's teachings, what he was giving out, and Balsekar trades on Nisargadatta's teachings, what he was giving out. Now, when I look at them, they're spinning it to ego framework, okay, according to their understanding, such as it is, okay. Now the problem, a big, huge red flag with Balsekar is there's no doer. You're not the doer. You're not responsible for any of your actions. You could be a murderer, but it's not you. God did it, okay? Because you're not the doer. It's all predetermined. It's all predetermined. So let go of it. If you're a serial killer, no problem. It's not your fault. God's directing all the actions, okay? Hogwash. So he takes free will out of the equation. According to him, there's no such thing as free will, no such thing as enlightenment, okay? Really, he takes his things and he spun it so far away from what Nisargadatta was saying that it's atrocious, okay? But egos love to hear it. They love to hang out with him. You know, the people that would visit him in Mumbai, okay, would be what? Europeans, Americans. Were there many Indians there going to him? No. Why? Because he's bogus. Okay, because he is bogus. He is not a Nisargadatta. He is not a Ramana Maharishi. Okay? He is sitting there giving things that people want to hear. There's no enlightenment, nothing to get. You're not the doer. Just relax. Do whatever you're doing. Okay? If you're an alcoholic, be an alcoholic. You're a drug addict, be a drug addict. It's not you that's doing it. Okay? So relax. Relax. Just go out and do whatever. Because enlightenment's not a real thing. Okay? And he's traded on this, written books and people that are in ego, want to have something buoyed up to say, I'm already there, there's nothing to get, I'm not the doer, okay? I don't have to worry about anything. Just go out, party hardy, and it's not me doing it. I'm not the one doing it, okay? So, you know, just absolutely nonsense. If you read Nisargadatta, okay, who's the real deal, okay, and then you read Ramesh, you will see there is a huge difference in what's being said. Look at it closely, okay, look at it closely. Now, Ramesh may have had a good demeanor. He may have been a lot of fun to be around, okay? But he is no Nisargadatta, not by any stretch of the imagination. And what he says can actually be dangerous, okay? You have somebody that's a serial killer out there and you say, you know, or they have this, you know, being driven by this imagination and yeah, you're not the doer, don't worry about it. It's okay. No blame for you no matter what you do, because it's all predetermined, okay? It's all predetermined. You're not the doer of your actions. There's no such thing as free will. Okay, so don't worry about it. Whatever you're inclined to do, go do it. Go do it. Okay? So yeah, I'm going to get probably a lot of flack from this, because there's a lot of people that actually read his nonsense. Okay? Actually take it to heart and trade on it. Okay? But it doesn't get you out of anything that you're going through. Okay? With enlightenment, I can guarantee it does exist. With enlightenment, all of the baggage that one had that was driving them is gone. In enlightenment, the thoughts are not going somewhere where you're ignoring them. They don't exist. Okay? If you want to know real non-duality, stick with Ramana. Stick with Nisargadatta. Don't go with those that have been studying under them, okay, that may have some thing that they're putting their spin on it. And of course the spin is going to sound great to egos because it's something they can relate to. Whereas genuine realization, they cannot relate to that because it is not in the framework of their consciousness. It just simply isn't. So I'll gravitate to what I can relate to. Sounds good to me. I've got it. There's nothing to get, nowhere to go. I'm already that. And yet I'm still suffering, but I'll be in denial of suffering. I'm not going to cop to it because it doesn't really exist. And that's all I have to do is say that. And I'm all good. Well, you're not all good, okay? You're not all good until all the baggage is left at the station and the mind stills. Genuine stilling, not suppressing. When people say, well, I just don't pay attention to the thoughts, they're somewhere else. They're in the background somewhere. No, that's something that's being repressed, suppressed. It's still there. It is still driving what one is doing, okay? So, that's a con that one is playing on oneself to sit there and say, but it's in the background. It's not really there, okay? Everything that was done, nasty things that were done by that, errant mind. But this mind is back there. But there's nobody here. There's nothing to get. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, in one hand, I'm not the doer, God's the doer. And in the other hand say, well, that was the errant mind. Okay, and that mind is back in somewhere else now. It's repressed, it's suppressed. Okay, it doesn't gel. It doesn't gel. Okay, just doesn't gel. So you see people and they get themselves in these loops and they're jumping here and jumping there and trying to make it fit and doing these loops and all they're doing is getting dizzy. Go to this teacher, this teacher, this teacher, this teacher, keep looking for something that they can put in their little arsenal, okay, to get rid of the HOLE, rather than finding out it's WHOLE. But you're not going to find out it's WHOLE by saying, I'm not the doer, okay? It doesn't work that way. Maybe you can convince yourself for a short time, but you're still in suffering, and eventually you're going to have to see that you are suffering. The mind spin is still there. No matter how much you want to tell yourself that it's not there, and you try to repress it, you try to suppress it, that's only going to work for a very short time, and then it's going to come in full force again. Then what happens is one goes on this search, looks for something else they can gravitate to, they can grasp onto, this next little straw, because they're not willing to really stop and do the work. Not really ready to take that journey and face what's there, face what comes. It's easier to project, to deflect, to find something else that one can try to convince oneself of for a time. But that doesn't bring peace. It doesn't bring that peace that passes understanding. It does not bring the living waters. It does not bring, I don't care, what dynamic, if you want to use talk from the Bible, if you want to use talk from, Hinduism, it doesn't take one to Turiya, that's still mind. It doesn't say repressed mind. It means there are no thoughts. Doesn't mean they're pushed somewhere else and repressed and held down. There are no thoughts. It is direct consciousness. Vast difference. Okay? So again, that's the problem I have with these ones that are satsang sellers that trade on a genuine enlightened being's wisdom, knowledge, and they take it out of context and spin it to something that sounds good to ego, get a big following, okay? And yet people are left in suffering. People are left in suffering. There is no magic wand, no quick fix. It takes doing the journey. It takes doing the journey. So for my students, please, 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 don't get involved with something like Ramesh Balsekar or David Godman. Look at the ones that were done by, you can get the talks with Ramana, okay? Talks with Ramana that was done by what is his name? Venkateshwar? Not Venkateshwar. Let me get his name. Do I have that here? Yeah, talks with Sri Ramana Maharishi. Stay away from the ones that are done by Godman. He takes things out of context, spins them, into his understanding, what he hopes that understanding is. Or you can do the I Am That, talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, but stay away from the ones from Balsekar. Because again, if you match it up with what Nisargadatta is saying, you'll see that he has a very mistaken notion as to what Nisargadatta's consciousness, where his consciousness was. Okay? Very mistaken notion as to where Nisargadatta was. So I'm going to leave this here. Much love and light. See you online.